Hello and welcome to India Business Hour. I'm Parikshit Luthra. Here are the headlines we are tracking this evening. The new NDA government gets down to business. Top ministers take charge as Prime Minister Modi opts for continuity by retaining his A-team. Inducts Singh Chauhan as Agriculture Minister. JP Nadda returns as Health Minister. With just about a month to go for the Union budget, Finance Minister gears up to balance growth and capex push with fiscal consolidation. Sources say the first cabinet decision to expand the affordable housing scheme is likely to cost the exchequer up to 4 lakh crore rupees. A late sell-off wipes out all the gains on the sensex and the nifty. Mid-caps outperform a flurry of block deals on Dalal Street today worth nearly 5,500 crore rupees. Indigo's promoter Interglobe likely sold shares worth 3,300 crore rupees. Ola Electric gears up to drive into Dalal Street. India's top electric scooter maker gets SEBI approval for initial public offer worth over 7,000 crore rupees. The United Nations Security Council endorses a ceasefire plan in Gaza, backed by the Biden administration. Hamas welcomes the proposal, but the Israeli government remains non-committal. Israeli forces launch fresh strikes, allegedly killing 8 people, including children, in a residential complex. Supreme Court refuses to stay the NEET counselling process for admission of students and medical colleges, but court observes sanctity of the exam has been affected and asks the National Testing Agency to respond. Multiple cases have been filed about grace marks for select students and allegations of paper leaks. BJP chooses 4-time MLA Mohan Majhi as the Odisha Chief Minister. The party secured an absolute majority in the assembly polls, bringing an end to Naveen Patnaik's 24-year-old rule. KV Singh Deo and Pravati Parida will serve as the Deputy Chief Ministers. The oath-taking ceremony will take place tomorrow. Chandrababu Naidu take oath as Andhra Pradesh CM for the 4th time tomorrow, infuses a new lease of life to his dream project of building the state capital at Amravati, but the funding roadmap remains unclear. Apple partners with OpenAI and makes a big artificial intelligence push. ChatGPT will be integrated with all new Apple devices. Elon Musk threatens to ban Apple products at his companies, calling the partnership an unacceptable security violation. Not a reboot, but rather a refresh. The new NDA-3 government gets going. Prime Minister Modi signalled a continuity in portfolio allocation and retained his party colleagues in key ministries. Amit Shah took charge at the Home Ministry this morning. He also retains the Ministry of Cooperation. S. Jaishankar, who retained the External Affairs Ministry, took charge as well. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, after a long innings as Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister, started his new stint as Union Agriculture Minister. Manohar Lal Khattar, the former Haryana Chief Minister, took charge at the Power Ministry. He is also in charge of Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Hardeep Singh Puri, who retained the Petroleum Ministry, took charge as well. JP Nadda returned as Health Minister nearly 5 years after he stepped down to become BJP President. Ashwini Vaishnav, who retained Railways, IT and was given additional charge of information broadcasting, to charge as well. Ministers from BJP's alliance partners took charge, such as Chirag Paswan becoming India's Food Processing Minister, a ministry once held by his father, late Ram Vilas Paswan. Rajiv Ranjan Singh of the JDU took charge at the Panchayati Raj Ministry. India's new MSME Minister, Jitan Ram Majhi, took charge as well. Now, as NDA 3.0 gets going, our team of reporters have been compiling a list of priorities for the key ministries engaging their first 100-day agenda. First, let's turn our focus on the Finance Ministry. Timsi Jaipuria is joining us.
Well, that's right, to keep the growth momentum continuing and to see that measures are in place that can actually propel the private sector investment in the economy. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is going to continue the focus on these key areas when it comes to preparing the 100-day agenda items. And yes, this could also see the upcoming budget. When we spoke to a lot of people around, they said, sources indicated that some of the areas of concern that could be part of the measures that are focused on during the first 100-day agenda would be to address the rural distress, create more employment opportunities, rationalization of rates under GST and income tax regime, further simplification of both these tax reforms and the laws. That is also going to be part of the 100-day agenda item.
And Ashwini Vaishnav will be in charge of the growth engines of the rail sector again. Rail stocks rallied in trade today. Vaishnav also retains the Electronic and IT Ministry and is given additional charge of the INB Ministry. Ashwin Kumar decodes Vaishnav's likely 100-day agenda for the IT Ministry.
Well, Ashwini Vaishnav reassuming charge as the Minister for Electronics and IT just this morning. This will be his second stint at the helm of the IT Ministry, and here are 5 things that will be topmost on his mind. Number 1, AI. The industry is talking about it aggressively. He's talking about integration of AI. The ministry will be looking at integration of this AI in a way that it can be transformed into a digital good, number 1. And number 2, what will a regulatory framework for AI look like? That's 1. Number 2, the semiconductor mission off to a flying start. The likes of Micron, likes of Tata expressing interest, investing money, setting up fabs in India. What does the second leg of the semiconductor mission journey look like? That's something that Ashwini Vaishnav will have to focus on. Number 3, electronics manufacturing. Again, off to a flying start with the mobile phone industry. Now the industry is talking about replacing it with import substitution, with export manufacturing. And that's something that's a demand coming in, not just for mobile phones, but also for the larger IT hardware and telecom technology space. So another key area of focus for Ashwini Vaishnav. Number 4, DPDP Act ratified by the Parliament. The rules, however, have not been notified. We're still awaiting the rules. We're still awaiting a framework for data security. That is something that is urgent, that will be pressing on his agenda. And finally, number 5, the IT Act has been in effect for a large part of the last 20 odd years. We're now looking at the next piece of legislation that will replace the Information Technology Act. Again, it will have implications for all players who have any form of digital presence, and the Digital India Act will again be the next key piece of legislation coming out of the Ministry of Electronics and IT. So 5 points here for Ashwini Vaishnav to focus on as he assumes charge at the helm of the IT Ministry.
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अपने पहले ही कार्यभार के पहले ही दिन गरीबों को समर्पित फैसले लिए हैं, किसानों को समर्पित फैसले लिए हैं, नौजवानों के लिए एक बहुत मजबूत नींव खड़ी करनी है और हमारी नारी शक्ति माँ और बहनों के लिए जो एक एम्पावरमेंट की सरकार रही है 10 वर्षों की, उसी भावना के साथ सेवा करेंगे.
Free trade agreements would be on the priority list for Piyush Goyal, who retains the commerce portfolio. Amibani Sharma with the Commerce Ministry wish list.
Several priority areas already exist for Union Minister for Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal, as he has taken charge in a ministry he was earlier serving in. As far as the Department of Commerce is concerned, curbing India's current account deficit and signing more free trade agreements with trading blocs to increase India's prospects for international trade would be his priority areas. India had already signed FTAs with the UAE and Australia and is currently in talks with the UK and the EU for FTAs. As far as the DPIIT and domestic industry is concerned, he would be looking to invite investment from several tech majors from the world to ensure that there is high-tech manufacturing which takes place in India and also leads to creation of jobs. Tweaking of PLI schemes, encouragement to startups and galvanizing local supply chains through Gati Shakti would be his other priority areas.
एक विकसित भारत 2047 तक बने, उस आधारशिला के ऊपर अमृत काल में वाणिज्य और उद्योग देश में तेज गति से प्रगति करे, विकास यात्रा में अपना योगदान दे, देश के 140 करोड़ लोगों की सेवा करे, युवा युवतियों को नए अवसर प्रदान करने का काम करे.
Hardeep Singh Puri, who retained the Petroleum Ministry, took charge today. Shivani Bazaz highlights Puri's priorities for the energy sector.
Well, absolutely. Hardeep Singh Puri assumed charge for the second time as the Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas in the NDA 3.0 government. Hardeep Singh Puri emphasized the ministry's commitment to ensuring the availability, affordability and sustainability of energy resources in India. And after assuming the charge, he had a quick meeting with his colleagues at the PNG ministry and then he spoke to media. Now, while speaking to the media, the minister highlighted India's resilience amid the ongoing challenging global environment, proudly noting that there had been no crisis or shortfall in the availability of petrol or diesel in India.
On E&P, which is my primary focus area, rounds 9 and 10 of the OALP bidding round will be done in the next few weeks. Now, I've asked my colleagues, and we mean that seriously, next few weeks, few can be 2, 3, but it cannot be more than that. It can be a little more, but not much more. Oil production from the 98/2 well will increase to 45,000 barrels per day very soon, and gas production will also start soon. The green hydrogen refinery, Panipat, 10 KTA, Mathura 5 KTA and Paradeep refinery of 10 KTA plants will be installed by IOC soon.
Hardeep Puri is also in charge of the Urban Development Ministry. Just yesterday, the cabinet approved financial assistance to construct 3 crore houses under the Pradhan Mantri Aghast Yojana. This could cost the exchequer up to 4 lakh crore rupees over the next 5 years. Sapna Das is here with this exclusive.
Well, as per the estimates that are doing the round and our own look at the numbers, it could quite be possible that the centre may be actually looking at a spend of around 3.75 lakh odd crores to around up to maximum 4 lakh odd crores in terms of the spend for the additional 3 crore houses that have to be built under the Pradhan Mantri Aghast Yojana. For the Grameen houses, that is basically 2 crore additional rural homes, maybe the expenditure over the next 5 odd years may work out to an approximate 2.5 lakh odd crores. We need to keep in mind this is a 60-40 scheme, basically a centrally sponsored scheme, 60% being the centre's share and the states have to bring in 40% of the allocation. And these are the broad numbers. Plus, we also need to be mindful of the fact that this year's budget has also done some significant allocations both for rural and urban housing. Urban housing around 80,000 crores, rural housing not less than 45,000 crores. So maybe around 25 to 30% of the expenditure to be incurred by the centre over the next 5 years has already been taken care of in this year's interim budget. But we have to wait and watch and see how the final numbers pan out. Last but not the least, there is also an additional announcement in the interim budget about the middle class housing scheme. Now, the expenditure for that will also be part of this PMAY spend that we are talking about over the next 5 odd years. That scheme, of course, will come up separately for a cabinet note, and the detailing will happen at that point in time. We'll have to wait and watch for that.
India's youngest ever cabinet minister and Telugu Desam Party MP Ram Mohan Naidu takes off on a new stint as the civil aviation minister. What are Naidu's top priorities as he takes charge? Danish Anand is here with the list.
Well, TDP's young MP Ram Mohan Naidu is all set to take charge as the 34th Union Civil Aviation Minister of India on the 13th of June. As far as his key priorities are concerned, the major priority in front of him right now is the ratification of the Cape Town Convention Bill, and this particular bill is a major bone of contention between the global aircraft lessors and the airlines in India, and this bill has become prominent especially after Go First was grounded. So it will be a key challenge in front of him how this bill is passed in the parliament. Secondly, the other key priority in front of him is the reduction of VAT on ATF, because around 30 states in India are charging VAT between 1 to 5%, but still there are 5 big states that are charging VAT between 20 to 40%. So it is a challenge in front of him how he plans to bring all the states under one umbrella.
My priority would be to do justice, and also coming from Andhra Pradesh, there are a lot of big ticket projects pending in the state of Andhra Pradesh, especially for the last 5 years. So definitely I would like to take that also as priority, and I'll keep the common man at the core. The problems that he is facing, we would like to address his grievances, address it in a very speedy manner. So there are a lot of things at work. I still have to take charge. So once I take charge, I'm going to do review meetings.
And time to take stock of the day's market action. Dalal Street saw a sharp fall in the last hour of trade to end off highs. Nifty and sensex ended flat. Financials remained and they were a major drag, with ICICI Bank and Kotak Mahindra Bank being the top losers. Meanwhile, mid-caps outperformed. The index hit record highs for the second straight session and closed nearly 1% higher. Brokerage firm Zerodha's co-founder Nitin Kamath has claimed that the investors have reaped 50,000 crore rupee profit over the last 4+ years. In a post on X, Kamath also said that investors in the company are also sitting on unrealized profit of 1 lakh crore rupees. The Zerodha co-founder's statement comes just a day after Amphi data suggested highest recorded monthly inflows for equity mutual funds in the month of May. And staying with the startup space and also speaking about future IPOs, Bengaluru-based Ola Electric, which is the #1 electric two-wheeler startup in the country, is all set to go public. Sources say that the startup has received SEBI's approval for its initial public offering. This includes a fresh issue of equity shares up to rupees 5,500 crore and an offer for sale of rupees 1,750 crore for over 95 lakh equity shares. We also hear from sources that the public listing could happen within a month. The company would be using the capital raised via the IPO for its Gigafactory project, repayment of debt, R&D and organic growth. In the next 6 to 18 months, the company is set to launch new entry-level scooters aggressively priced and aimed at the B2B segment, and electric motorcycles as well. In electric three-wheelers, the company could bring out a product, and that is also on the cards. The company is building an integrated technology and manufacturing center at Krishnagiri, Tamil Nadu, and is creating an EV hub in Dharmapuri, as well as increasing the production of scooters. The company has captured 50% of the electric two-wheeler market and sold over 37,000 electric scooters in the month of May. The company is also working on plans for an IPO for Ola Cabs. And staying with Dalal Street, there was a flurry of block deals worth nearly 5,500 crore rupees today. Vivek Iyer is here with the details.
Well, that's right. All throughout the week, this week as well as last week, we've been highlighting about how so many blocks have happened. Today, we've seen another 3 large block deals happen. First one was Indigo or Interglobe Aviation. So far it was the Gangwal family that was selling stake. Today, if you see, it was the current existing promoter, that is Interglobe Enterprises, selling close to 2% of the total equity. Remember, they held over 37.7% stake at the end of FY24. So the total deal size today is almost 3,300 crore rupees. So quite a large block happening as far as Interglobe is concerned. Stock ended almost 4% lower. The other stock was IRB Infra. This is quite interesting because just a couple of weeks ago, you saw the promoter entity sell almost 2% stake. Along with that, today Sintra, which is a ferrovial affiliate, the Italian-based company, they have sold close to 5% in the company today. They held 24.86% stake at the end of FY24. So almost a 1,900 crore block coming in. And even after today, their stake slips below 20%. And lastly, Honasa Consumer, two strategic investors are partially paid their stake. Fireside Ventures as well as Sofina Ventures, they held 5.3% and 6.16% stake respectively at the end of FY24. Today, both of them have paid 1% stake. The total size of the block that exchange hands today was over 270 crore. All 3 of the stocks ended in the red today.
After the markets closed, it has been confirmed that the Interglobe Aviation, the promoter of Indigo, sold stake in the block deal. And coming up on India Business Hour, it's a new dawn from Ravati. Naidu's Deem project receives a second lease of life after he storms back to power in Andhra Pradesh. And you can also catch all CNBC TV 18's news and updates on Facebook, X, Threads, Instagram and JioCinema. Time for the big international headlines. The United Nations Security Council has endorsed a ceasefire plan in Gaza backed by the Biden administration. Hamas has welcomed the proposal, but the Israeli government continues to remain non-committal. Meanwhile, Israeli forces have launched fresh strikes, allegedly killing 8 people, including children, in a residential complex.
Israel is committed to these goals: to free all the hostages, to destroy Hamas's military and governing capabilities, and to ensure that Gaza does not pose a threat to Israel in the future. And as we have echoed numerous times in this very chamber, once these goals are met, the war will end. If Hamas were to release the hostages and turn themselves in, not one more shot needs to be fired. Yet sadly, for the past 8 months, Hamas has refused. 120 hostages are still being held by Hamas in appalling conditions. To this day, Hamas continues firing rockets at Israeli towns and cities and advancing their goal of murdering every Israeli. Members of the Council, it is Hamas that is preventing this war from ending. Hamas and Hamas alone.
Today, this Council sent a clear message to Hamas. Accept the ceasefire deal on the table. Israel has already agreed to this deal, and the fighting could stop today if Hamas would do the same. I repeat, the fighting could stop today. This Council and countries across the region and the world have endorsed this agreement.
France's political leaders are preparing for snap polls after President Emmanuel Macron dissolved the parliament. The move was in response to a big defeat by rival Marine Le Pen's national rally in the European Parliament vote. Macron called his decision serious and heavy, but added that it was an act of confidence in the French people. According to exit polls, the far-right party was on track to win 32% of the votes. The 2 rounds of voting will take place on the 30th of June and the 7th of July. The BJP has chosen Mohan Majhi as the new Chief Minister of Odisha. Days after securing an absolute majority in the Assembly election, the 52-year-old Majhi, a 4-time MLA, will succeed Biju Janata Dal's Naveen Patnaik, who had an interrupted 24-year-old run as Odisha's Chief Minister. Odisha will also have 2 deputy CMs, similar to the formula that the BJP followed in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. KB Singh Deo, a 6-time MLA and member of an erstwhile royal family, will be one of Majhi's deputies. Pravati Parida, a first-time MLA, has also been chosen as a deputy chief minister. She had earlier served as the women wing president of the BJP in Odisha. From Odisha to Andhra Pradesh, Chandrababu Naidu is back at the helm after 5 years. He will take oath as the CM tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Prime Minister Modi is expected to attend the ceremony in Vijayawada. Naidu's ally and the head of Janasena, Pawan Kalyan, is likely to serve as the Deputy Chief Minister. And Chandrababu Naidu's return as the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh will mean that Amravati, the new capital city he proposed to build 10 years ago, will get a new lease of life. CNBC TV 18's Shilpa Ranipeta reports that Naidu's victory has already sent hopes soaring.
This was supposed to be Andhra Pradesh's dream capital, a thriving metropolis built from scratch to rival some of the best planned cities in the world. But in the last 5 years, the project has stalled, leaving half-constructed buildings, vast stretches of empty land and 25,000 farmers holding broken promises. Now, with the Telugu Desam Party and Chandrababu Naidu returning to power, his pet project is set to be recalled to life.
रात काली रात हमें गुजर गई थी, अब चंद्रोदय आएगा शायद, जब क्या बोलते हैं उसको, राजधानी फिर से बनेगी, किसान हम खुशी हो रहे। शपथ ग्रहण तक चंद्रबाबू नायडू ने नहीं लिया है। यहाँ पे जो कांटे, यहाँ पे जो क्या बोलते हैं फॉरेस्ट जैसा बन गया था, उसका क्लियरेंस स्टार्ट हो गया है।
The resurrection of Amravati is Naidu's biggest poll promise, and a new capital city will mean fresh investment.
If
the capital is built here, all towns between Vijayawada and Guntur also come together. My resolve is to build a dream capital, one with world recognition and one Telugu people will be proud of. What is Andhra Pradesh's capital?
And TDP says he is keeping this promise.
From the past few days, lot of activity had started in Amravati. We will definitely, keep all the projects that have been derailed in Amravati back on track. We always wanted Amravati to be a growth engine for the state.
Amravati was conceived in 2014 with an initial budget of nearly 30,000 crore rupees. The World Bank pledged $300 million and the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank pledged $200 million. Work began in full swing. An interim high court was built and construction began on the Secretariat and residential and commercial infrastructure. Naidu's government also pooled land across 33,000 acres from over 25,000 farmers.
100 cents of land अगर हम गवर्नमेंट को देंगे तो हमें वापस में 25% ऑफ लैंड किसान को देने के लिए एग्रीमेंट था। यही है और जिसमें फूटी कौड़ी भी रिटर्नेबल क्या चाह रहा, दूसरे वजह में पैसा किसान को नहीं मिला है। फिर भी हम 25% ये कंडीशन था कि गवर्नमेंट ये 25% को पूरा यहाँ पे डेवलपमेंट करेगी, यहाँ पे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी देगी, यहाँ पे रोड और पूरा बना के इसका वैल्यू बढ़ाएगी।
When Jagan Mohan Reddy's YSRCP came to power in 2019, Amravati project was scrapped and both World Bank and AIIB pulled out. The farmers who participated in Naidu's pet project were the worst hit. With Naidu returning to power, there is hope. In less than a week since Naidu's victory, anecdotal evidence suggests land prices in some pockets in the region have already surged 50 to 100%.
यहाँ पे जब 10,000 रुपये एक यार्ड था, यहाँ पे 8,000 रुपये था, आज 20, 30, 35 को चला गया था।
But Chandrababu Naidu has not yet announced how he plans to proceed with this greenfield project. Experts say that given the state has a fiscal deficit of 4.2% in FY24 and a debt of 13 lakh crore rupees, funding will be a problem and realizing the dream of Amravati may be a long process. In Mumbai, Shilpa Rani Peta.
After winning 2 key seats in Uttar Pradesh, the Gandhi family visited Raebareli today to thank the voters. Rahul Gandhi won Raebareli by a margin of 3 lakh votes. Congress leader and Gandhi family confidant Kishori Lal Sharma defeated BJP Smriti Irani by 1.6 lakh votes in Amethi. Sonia Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi addressed a public meeting and thanked the voters. And finally, Prime Minister Modi has asked his followers and party leaders to remove Modi Ka Parivar from their social media handles during the election campaign. RJD leader Lalu Prasad Yadav has had taken a dig at Prime Minister Modi over his remarks on dynastic politics. Following this, several union ministers and BJP leaders had added Modi Ka Parivar to their social media handles. Apple's annual Worldwide Developers Conference kicked off yesterday. The company has announced a deal with ChatGPT maker OpenAI. Apple has said that it would use OpenAI's technology in its products. Apple users could tap into OpenAI's ChatGPT when using Siri if they wanted to. The move is aimed at helping Apple keep up with competitors like Microsoft and Google in the AI race. Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, has threatened to ban Apple devices from his companies. This after the iPhone maker announced a partnership with OpenAI to integrate ChatGPT into the devices to use as a chatbot. The move failed to impress Musk. He said, and I quote, "Apple has no clue what's actually going on. Once they hand your data over to OpenAI, they're sending you down the river." End of quote. He added that he found it absurd that Apple was not smart enough to make its own AI and called the tie-up an unacceptable security violation. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Business Hour. Thank you for watching. News continues right here on CNBC TV 18.